It begins with a strange moment in modern politics. The leader of one of America's closest allies, Canada, is flying to Beijing not to challenge China, not to praise it, but simply to survive economically. This is not because China suddenly became kinder or fairer. It is because the United States, under Donald Trump's America First agenda, has become so aggressive in trade that even its friends are now looking elsewhere for safety. For decades, Canada's economy was built on one simple idea: trade deeply with the United States and everything else will be fine. Nearly 3/4 of Canada's exports went south to American markets. That relationship was not perfect, but it was stable. Businesses could plan. Workers felt secure. Governments could focus on long-term growth. Then, Trump changed the rules. He did not just argue for fair trade. He used tariffs as punishment. He treated trade partners like enemies. He spoke of allies as burdens. He even joked that Canada could become the 51st state. What once felt like partnership began to feel like pressure. Tariffs were no longer tools of negotiation. They became weapons. Steel, aluminum, cars, technology, everything became a battlefield. Trump's message was simple: if you do not obey American priorities, you will pay economically. For Canada, this was a shock. A country that had trusted the United States more than any other suddenly found itself being squeezed by its own ally. Factories faced uncertainty. Farmers lost markets. Businesses feared sudden policy changes based on political moods in Washington. So, Canada began looking for alternatives. Not because China is trustworthy, not because China is kind, but because Canada had no choice. Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to Beijing is not a celebration. It is a signal of desperation. It is a sign that America's closest partners no longer feel safe relying only on the United States. And that is the real story. Trump's America First policy is not making America stronger. It is making America lonelier. Instead of leading through trust, the United States is trying to lead through fear. Instead of building cooperation, it is building walls. Even countries that deeply disagree with China on human rights, democracy, and law are now forced to sit at the same table with Beijing because Washington has become unpredictable. This is not smart strategy. This is short-term thinking. China does not need to persuade countries that it is good. It only needs to appear calmer than the United States. It only needs to look stable while Washington looks angry. It only needs to look patient while America looks impulsive. Trump's behavior is doing China's work for it. Every time the U.S. threatens tariffs, more countries look for other partners. Every time Trump insults allies, those allies start building new friendships. Every time America uses economic power to bully, it teaches the world that dependence on America is dangerous. This is not leadership. This is intimidation. And intimidation always creates resistance. Canada is not alone. Europe is diversifying. Asia is diversifying. Latin America is diversifying. Even traditional American allies are slowly building systems that rely less on the United States, not because they hate America, but because they fear instability. And instability is poison for economies. Trump's America First policy promises strength, but it produces isolation. It promises protection, but it creates uncertainty. It promises control, but it accelerates the decline of American influence. Power in the modern world does not come from shouting the loudest or threatening the most. Power comes from being the country others want to work with. And right now, the United States is becoming the country others feel they must protect themselves from. That is the tragedy. America could have used its position to build a fairer global system. It could have reformed trade without destroying trust. It could have led with cooperation. Instead, Trump chose confrontation. And now the world is responding not with loyalty, but with distance. Canada's trip to China is not about China rising. It is about America pushing others away. And that should worry everyone, because a world where countries no longer trust the United States is not a safer world. It is a more divided one. It is a world where cooperation is replaced by blocks, where trade becomes warfare, and where fear replaces stability. America First is not putting America first. It is pushing America alone.